Greetings and welcome to the 23rd episode of Oblivion House Mod Hunters. As always, I'm your host, Rock Elf Guy, and today we're going to be looking at another 3 random themed house mods as we try and find your dream home in Cyrodiil. We've got some pretty nice and scenic abodes for you today. That's found from one end of Cyrodiil to the next. And as always, you can find down the links for each of these down in the video description below. And we're going to get started with our popular house mod of the week, which this week is Highwood by Ithlia and Hickory. Now, to be completely honest, this is probably one of the more beautiful and scenic house mods I've had the pleasure of playing for Oblivion, and essentially it adds this amazing little getaway in the Gold Coast region, not too far away from the city of Anvil. And this house is, really more of a compound and farm with multiple buildings, fields, and gardens attached to the property. Again, this is a really quite scenic place with vineyards and fields of sunflowers, providing some absolutely stunning and rustic surroundings. And the main house here has a deck out front with chairs for you to sit back and to watch the sunset over the Obsidian Sea and Anvil in the distance. And out back you'll find the rest of the buildings attached to the main house here, including a small stables to keep your horse if you have one, as well as a windmill, gardens with a variety of crops that you can harvest, a small shack, and there's even, I believe, some maple trees behind the fence here. And you also find a small guest cottage that doubles as a painter's workshop. And the landscaping here is just, really beautiful. Highwood is like the perfect rustic farmstead for you to go to, relax. It's just, stuff for these little details, incredibly scenic surroundings. I know I've said that a lot already, but it can't be understated. And anyway, you can see this farmstead on the map here, and it's just a little ways east of Anvil, with a fairly short commute overall. And of course, it does come with a map marker as well. And heading inside the main house here, you'll find a lovely and cozy pre-decorated home, including a fully stocked kitchen and dining room off to the side of the main entry, with easy access out back to the vegetable gardens. And of course, I should probably mention real quick that this is a house I will need to earn by fighting through a rather large dungeon to get the key, but we're skipping over that part here. And anyway, you also find a small lounge area here right next to the front door, where you can sit and talk with company or, what have you. And going upstairs, you'll find a lot of these lovely paintings dotting the walls here. I believe most of these depict other house mods for Oblivion, and they're, certainly quite beautiful looking to be sure. And also up here, you'll find the library and main study, which includes a roaring fireplace, a couple of bookcases, a writing desk naturally, and there's even a small little sidebar here with an assortment of drinks that you can partake in, next to the fire on those long dark nights. And the library also leads into the master bedroom here, which is rather cozy and inviting, if, a bit perhaps on the modern side, cosmetically speaking. And there's one last room up here, and that's a small bathroom where you'll find a full bathtub that you can, relax in after the end of a long day in the gardens. And anyway, moving on real quick, we're going to take a look at the guest cottage, which includes an absolutely lovely painting gallery with tons of just beautiful paintings and drawings lining the walls here, including some rather nice sunflower wallpaper. Now, going through the door here, you'll find a small breakfast area divided off from a small bedroom, and this is a nice little cozy home to put up one of your companions, or, some NPC staff if you prefer. And there is a bit of a backstory to this place, and you'll find a journal on one of the outbuildings here that gives you a history of Highwood. And speaking of, this building also doubles as an alchemy lab with ingredient storage and some, pretty nice aquariums right here with a bunch of little fish just swimming around. And overall, Highwood is just an outright fantastically scenic and beautiful abode with a lot of features to offer, from basic convenience features like a map marker, alchemy lab, stables, and of course the ingredient vegetable gardens, to a guest house and a bunch of bonus little details like a background story, a brewery, and even a working oven that you can, bake bread in, that we sort of glossed over before. And this is the perfect, sort of rustic retreat for those players looking to find a home where they can just, relax and enjoy the scenery, though it is a bit difficult to get, with a long dungeon and a moderately difficult boss fight to get through before you can actually move in. But either way, this is certainly one house mod that you should absolutely check out. And moving on, we have our new house mod of the week, which this week is Thermae Manor by Richtigbloedepinguin, and I do apologise, I probably mispronounced something there. And this one adds a rather nice and large Imperial style manor to the Talos Plaza district of the Imperial City, right next to the gates to the White Gold Tower itself. Obviously, it doesn't have much landscaping here, being in the middle of the city, of course. And before you can even move into this home, you'll need to buy the deed first, and it'll set you back about 60,000 gold, which is a fair amount to be sure. But before we go check out the interior, real quick, we're going to take a look at the map here, though obviously the commute here is basically non-existent, since this is, right in the middle of town, and it doesn't, come with a map marker, since it really doesn't need one, being, again, in the middle of the capital city itself. And anyway, going inside, you'll find a rather lovely main entry hall here, including some statue work and a fountain that sort of gives this home a bit of an epic entry feel. Also, right off the main entry hall here, you'll find a breakfast table and seating area for guests to wait at, as well as a small bar area and display cases for you to show off your loot in. And it should be mentioned that the property does come with what appears to be a single servant, so you might occasionally see him, just strolling around in here. And anyway, towards the back you'll also find the main dining room, and going downstairs into the basement, you'll find a bathing chamber, including a rather large fireplace to keep things warm down here, and of course the pool area itself. You'll also find the servants' quarters down here in the basement as well, with a small dining area and a bedroom to use. And just moving on up to the rest of the house here, you'll find a guest bedroom where you can keep a companion up on the second floor here. And in fact, there's 2 guest bedrooms for companions in total, as well as a second display hall up here, where you can keep any additional loot that you might want to show off in your private collection. And naturally, the last room up here is the master bedroom, which is, fairly lavish and nicely decorated, with a decent bit of storage and a scenic looking master bed. Now, the home does come with a small magic lab up on the 3rd floor here, with altars of enchanting and spellmaking, so if you're a mage, that's certainly quite convenient. And anyway, overall, this is a lovely and atmospherically designed manor right in the heart of the capital, that includes plenty of convenient features, from lots of display space to altars of enchanting and spellmaking, and also companion beds. And, personally, I just have to say that I've always, quite enjoyed Richtigbloedepinguin's designs when it comes to house and city mods. And at a price of 60,000 gold, this is definitely a home that you'll, have to work to earn, but it's certainly worth the effort, and I would recommend checking it out. And finally, for our underrated house mod of the week this week, we're going to be taking a look at Cherrybrook Grove by Dollyparts. Now, before we get started here, Cherrybrook Grove is both a house and really a sort of landscape mod. It makes a lot of changes to the landscape north of Coral here, and as such, we'll be flying around the property a bit before heading inside. Now, essentially, Cherrybrook Grove is a walled-off little valley of colourful trees, waterfalls, and peaceful little streams. And there's a lot of just, really beautiful landscaping here, with tons of platforms and bridges for you to hike across and enjoy the surrounding views, as well as the old ruins of some ancient fort, adding a sort of atmospheric and mysterious touch to this charming little grove. And the landscaping here is really one of the main features of this mod, and it should be mentioned that there is a unique landscapes patch, so you should be able to play it with both installed if you so desire, though there does seem to be a minor issue of a distant land glitch. Regardless, you can see the main manor house here, which has a small creek dividing it off from the rest of the property, which again is just very scenic. And real quick, we're going to take a look at the map here, and as you can see, Cherrybrook Grove is just a short commute outside of Coral, and of course it does come with a map marker, like you'd expect. And before you can actually get inside your new home, you're going to need to solve a bit of a riddle first that you'll find in the bushes outside the main door. And this isn't really that complicated, so you should find yourself inside fairly quickly. Now, heading inside here, you'll need to spend a bit of time just going around and turning on lights in order to, just brighten up the interior a bit, since this home does start out a bit on the dark side, and there's a variety of light sources that you can just, turn on and off, including light switches in almost every room. And anyway, once you've got a few of these lights turned on, you'll find a beautiful and cozy manor to call home, with a main entry hall that includes a lounge and a roaring fireplace. And this entire home is just, really nicely pre-decorated with a lot of small atmospheric touches and details. And here on the first floor, you'll also find a rather well-stocked kitchen, full of ingredients ready to be made into a meal, as well as a dining room over here to the side. And again, all this is just, really nicely pre-decorated, making it a beautiful manor to call home. And up on the second floor, you'll find the library, as well as the master bedroom. And, given the quite obvious care and attention the author has put into crafting this abode, it's really quite surprising to me that this mod has remained so largely underrated. I mean, it has only around 60 endorsements on the Nexus, and it certainly deserves a fair bit more attention than that. But anyway, I'm getting a bit off topic here. I also wanted to point out that this abode does come with enchanting and spellmaking services, if perhaps a bit hidden, with an enchantment orb and a spellmaking book. And something else that's worth pointing out here, this home comes with a rather, lengthy backstory and history of the previous owner. You can find their journals scattered around your new home, and you'll need to keep a keen eye out, because the key to the basement, as well as some hidden treasures, can be found if you just, look around carefully. And we're going to take a look at just one more room, and that's the basement here, which includes an alchemy lab, an ingredient garden, and lots of storage. Though again, you'll need to find the key first before you can actually make your way down here. And there's really something for just about every character in this home, whether you're a mage, a fighter, or a thief. There's something in Cherrybrook Grove to suit your needs. And overall, this is just a fantastically beautiful home, with lots of atmosphere, scenic landscaping, details, and a story to go along with it all, to really, immerse yourself in this fantastic little getaway. It does come with a lot of convenience features, such as a map marker, ingredient garden, alchemy lab, training room, altars of enchanting and spellmaking, and plenty of storage. And if you're looking for a cozy and atmospheric getaway, this is certainly one abode that you should consider checking out. And that pretty much wraps up this week's episode of Oblivion House Mod Hunters. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next week with another selection of Oblivion House mods for your viewing pleasure.